Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to solo the castle outposts found in the black zone. So for those of you that don't know, castle outposts can be found in the black zone, and they're just these things you can see around the map, and it's pretty easy to find them if you look around. Usually around half the zones in the black zone have outposts in them. So these castle outposts have 3 waves. First you have the normal guards, which are there just when you see the outpost. 1 minute after you kill the last guard, the elites will spawn. These are just like larger guards. And then 1 minute after you kill the last elite, the Lord spawns, which is a boss, and it has a couple abilities. Once you kill the Lord, the outpost will be claimed by your guild, and at predefined points throughout the day, it will grant season points to whatever guild holds it. During some of those times, it also spawns a chest, which is quite good for loot. It on average has, I would say, around 2 to 4 million in it. All outposts work on the same timers, and if you want to see when the season points tick or when the chest spawns, you can click on any outpost and it will show you when the next season point tick is and when it spawns its loot. Okay, so for your build, the name of the game is AoE DPS and Sustain. So for this, our weapon slot is either going to be the Shadow Collar or the Battle Axe, and our chest piece is going to be the Hellion Jacket. For your helmet, you're going to want to use Scholar Cowl for the energy regeneration, and for your cape, you're going to want to use the Thetford Cape for the constant AoE DPS. For your offhand and your shoes, you have a couple options. Offhand, it's just either the Muizak for a little bit more damage, or going with the Mist Collar to get a little bit shorter cooldowns. Really, for your boots, you don't need any specific boots to have this work. Some good options if you're struggling with doing the bosses and stuff is to go leather shoes with refreshing sprint, which can help get abilities up faster, or going guardian boots with the Gigantify to help you tank more damage in between times that you're healing. Really, besides those, other good options are any other escape boots like the demon boots or soldier boots, just to help you escape if you get ganked or something in between. Lastly, for our food and potions, food you're going to be using lifesteal food, so either roasts or pure mist roasts to get that lifesteal effect and help you sustain up. And for your potions, really you don't really use them, so I would suggest poison potions to use on the Lord. One other thing to note with your build is that if you're expecting to get loot, you're going to want a pretty big bag or amount with some carry weight on it, because it drops a lot of the tier 6 city treasures, which weigh quite a lot. So if you want to have space to carry them all, you're going to need quite a lot of carry weight on you as well. So for your strategy, one thing that can be helpful is to do a couple attempts and see how long it takes you to complete the entire outpost, so you can start doing it that many minutes before the timer ticks to give the previous owners the least amount of time to respond to you. So for example, if it takes me 6 minutes from the time I enter it to the time the Lord is dead, I might want to start it at like 53 or 54, which would give the guild that currently owns the outpost only 6 minutes to respond and come stop me from taking their outpost. This can be especially effective if you're looking at your map in around half hour leading up to the timer to see sort of where people are. You can track which outposts they've taken to get a general idea of where they are, and then go for the outpost that's furthest away from them. If you're not interested in the season points and just want the loot, a lot of the time what happens, especially with some of the bigger guilds, is they go out for season points and they do a bunch of outposts on the way, but then they have another objective once the timer hits, like smashing a hideout or something, so they won't actually go and pick up the loot till much later. This can allow you to run around after the timer and looking at outposts that still have their chest available, and then taking it from them after the timer, and you're still able to loot the chest. If you want to do this, I would suggest looking for areas that currently have wars going on, where hideouts are being smashed and territories are being fought over and things like that, because often the big zergs will do some outposts before while they're waiting or positioning, but when the timer hits, we'll be busy fighting, allowing you to do that outpost and get the loot without them being able to respond. Lastly, another thing to note is that we're currently in the Crystal Rush season, so there's a lot of people focusing on outposts and things like that. So right now might not be the best time to try to do this, as pretty much every outpost is contested. However, off season is a very amazing time to do it, because they still drop loot, and in other seasons as well, when there isn't as much of a race or objective on season points, like midway through the season, it can also be a lot better to do than currently. One last thing to note is that technically there is a safe spot for the Lord and the elites of these castle outposts, but I would probably suggest against using it. Now, I didn't want to put it in the video because I didn't really want people to know about it and use it, but I figured it would probably get out in the comments or some other way, so I thought I'd address it in the video anyways. Essentially, Albion's terms of service or rules aren't super clear on stuff like this. It could be intended and perfectly good to use, it could be unintended but still perfectly good to use, or it could be unintended and not allowed or bannable. We don't really know. So personally, I would suggest to not use it at all. It's not even really needed, as you can solo without using a safe spot, and it's quite possible that you could get banned for using it, so really I would suggest just don't use it. Okay, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed this little guide on soloing Outposts. Let me know in the comments if it helped you and if you want to see things similar like this, and as always, subscribe to not miss out on any future content.